The Empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
The facts are in. The studies are legion. Sodium fluoride and other toxic members of the fluoride family are devastating the health and cognitive ability of the American people. So why are the social engineers adding it to the water? Simple. Dumb down the host population that the parasitic technocracy is feeding on. We may not have been able to get fluoride out of the water supply yet, but we can help to get it out of our bodies. I am extremely excited to announce the exclusive InfoWars Life Fluoride Shield formulation, fusing 6 of the best documented ingredients from around the world to help the body remove not just toxic fluoride residues from the body, but a whole host of toxic substances. Let's take a stand against the globalists by blocking their poisons with Fluoride Shield. I use Fluoride Shield every day. Secure your Fluoride Shield and other pioneering formulations at InfoWarsLife.com today. Let's start cleansing our bodies now and support the InfoWar at the same time. That's InfoWarsLife.com. Hi folks, Alex Jones here with some important information. I want to tell you about Matt Redhawk and his team of patriots over at My Patriot Supply. Several years ago, Matt was sitting in his 2-bedroom apartment, frustrated with the direction this country was headed and the charlatans willing to sell us out for a quick buck. Deciding to take action, a company run by patriots for patriots was born. My Patriot Supply has never taken a loan or accepted outside funding. They now operate 2 distribution facilities and employ over 50 hardworking American men and women. It is rare to find companies who practice what they preach. And that's why I stock my pantry with high-quality storable foods from My Patriot Supply. Go to mypatriotsupply.com/Alex today for special offers on emergency food storage, or call their preparedness specialist at 866-229-0927. That's 866-229-0927. Do business with someone who shares your values. mypatriotsupply.com/Alex. Why does the United States spend the largest percentage of GDP in the world on healthcare? Why do we have the highest cancer rates on the planet, the highest rates of diabetes, autism, and every other major disease? It all comes down to one thing. We are what we eat. Our food is devoid of nutrition and processed with poisons and additives. Our water is filled with toxic poisons and big pharma runoff. All of this has been engineered by design. We can turn the tide against the eugenicist by giving ourselves the nutrients our body desperately needs. To learn more, visit InfoWarsHealth.com. The site is literally packed with audio and video featuring top health professionals who don't bow down to big pharma. The fight against the New World Order starts with you, and you can't stand against the machine if you're sick, tired, and obese. When you visit InfoWarsHealth.com, be sure and check out the catalog with nearly 400 life-changing products, and get free shipping when you sign up for AutoShip.
Crashing through the lies and disinformation. It's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
At one level, at a primitive level, because governments are so oppressive and out of control in most cases, we see the images of citizens in Ukraine, in the capital city, battling and defeating police with Molotov cocktails. And it looks like 1776, but when you examine it a little bit closer, they are shooting the police first with firearms. They are raiding military caches of weapons. That's professionals, folks. The CIA, that is the criminal elements of it, controlled by the globalists and George Soros, are over there involved in this to take down the final piece up to the wall with Russia to start a new Cold War. When Russia is trying to reform and has been reaching out to us, that is illegitimate. That is fraudulent. Major universities have come out with studies just yesterday that the U.S. continues to drop in press freedom, just like Russia. But economically, Russia is going up in economic freedom while we're going down. Russia is becoming more free in many ways than we are. China is becoming more free in some ways than we are in major studies. Look them up. And it is extremely, extremely frustrating to see this going on. But there are a lot of factoids and learning events we can have within this larger event that are extremely informative to the larger world. It's an educational experience. This is how the globalists take down countries and put in new regimes, is they create global economic climates that make it very hard all over the world, especially in what you'd call the poor old world, like Ukraine. They're poor compared to us. It's rough. The people just know the government is in charge. Hey, the EU was going to make it better. They promised. The majority of Ukrainians don't want to join. We don't care. That's you Orthodox Christians that are pro-Russia in the east of Ukraine. We're going to burn down your churches. They are absolutely just playing people off against each other mindlessly. Mindlessly. And the globalists will play Muslim off against Catholic in another country and, blow up their churches. The globalists don't care. They're going after everybody, and it's disgusting. So this is what they want to do in America with all this race politics and race division, and you wonder why there's all these mobs of young black people running around beating up whites everywhere, and the media tries to cover it up, because that's just the beginning of the fomenting so that we'll all fight with each other while the globalists rob us with Obamacare, rob us with the control of energy and gouging and the power plants, rob us with the dumbing down, rob us with the fines, the fees, the taxes, rob us with the NAFTA, the GATT, the TPP, all the new trade deals that are just specialized deals. But separately, militarily, you've got a country that doesn't have a Second Amendment, where it's all very hard to get a gun, basically a gun ban. And you've got the citizens with a little bit of training, because, the CIA guys and the $5 billion they've spent in the last year. On record, that guys, pull up an article. $5 billion spent by, quote, U.S. foundations in Ukraine in the last 12 months. $5 billion spent in the last year, and a couple of months, I guess 14 months, since the beginning of 2012, to put in color revolution groups, honchoed by the usual suspect. He's going to get your guns and your free speech, too. I'll get you and your little dog, too. George Soros, the Nazi collaborator. Because he loves you and he's a democratizer. No, he wants that country to loot the daylights out of it, like they've done Greece and Spain and everywhere else. They want control of that government. They want control of those national bank accounts. They want control of the national assets. And they're going to then use that country to leverage it against all its neighbors. They're going to bring down the breadbasket of Europe right now. Ukraine, the biggest wheat producer in the whole region. Absolutely insane. Let me check it out right here. I'm going to pull it up right now. I'm going to go to the old NSA search engine, and I'm going to say 5 billion. 5 billion. We have it. Global research. American conquest by subversion. Victoria Newlands admits Washington has spent $5 billion to subvert Ukraine. That's a quote. Print that for me, and they'll have great bibliography at the bottom. That's global research. After 3 visits to Ukraine in 5 weeks, Victoria Newland from the State Department explains that the past 2 decades, no, it's the last year, the United States has spent $5 billion to subvert Ukraine, and assures her listeners that there are prominent businesses and government officials who support the U.S. project to tear Ukraine away from its historic relationship with Russia and into a U.S. sphere of influence via Europe. It's not a U.S. sphere, it's a banker sphere. And then it just goes on. And then she's given low numbers at that Exxon event she was at. It's $5 billion in the last 14, 15 months. But I'm digressing. Imagine the magnitude of that. That they're financing this. And imagine if we went out. Can you imagine if 1 million people took to D.C. and then started burning things all over the place and shooting police with firearms? They'd have helicopter gunships out killing thousands. They would probably nerve gas people. That's on record under the Sunshine Project, got leaked documents in 2000 that the Marine Corps standing by in every region with helicopters in mothballs with nerve gas at the locations, ready to be nozzled on to fly around and kill people. And they also have opiate bombs which is basically heroin, where they fly over and spray that, but they say that kills more than 10% of people because you fall over and hit your head, you wreck your car, fires start. They say might as well just nerve gas people. You can, by the way, go read those. They were actually declassified, and the Marine Corps freaked out. They were reclassified. I had the head of the project on. He got so threatened, they shut the project down, but then the Marines couldn't get Google to take it off the Wayback Machine. That is Google, isn't it? Look up Sunshine Project helicopters, Austin, Texas, because that was where one of the plans came out. And point is, they'd send out, you better have heavy-duty hazmat gear, folks. You want to do what they're doing in D.C. They're going to hit you with at least opiate knockout gas, a.k.a. Close Encounters of the Third Kind or whatever it is. You know, they knock out the whole town so they won't see the space aliens land. Bottom line, ladies and gentlemen, that is the plan. That is the plan, is to use helicopters on you. Now, we got a Congress with a 6% approval rating. Obama's openly a dictator. Obama's openly trying to train the military that gun owners and veterans are the main enemy. They're converting the whole system of the military-industrial complex in Northcom over to go after the American people. It's high treason. And the American people really have the right, and I think the duty, until you realize that's what they want us to do, to actually do what the Ukrainians are doing everywhere that state governments don't sign on to the Republic and announce the federal government's been hijacked and is illegitimate. But I don't want people to do that. But under the Declaration of Independence, you have a right and kind of a pig-headed duty to fight this. But see, I fight in the info war because, as the Pentagon says, 90% of war is psychological. So I'm talking right to the Pentagon. You really want to help bring America down with the foreign banks? You really want to be collaborators like Vichy French? No, you don't. Good. Do whatever you can to leak the tyranny, expose it, don't go along with it. We're going to stop it. Just like you did with Syria not backing al-Qaeda. Good job. We're going to stop this together. We can do this, folks. We don't want violence. We don't want them to be able to start a civil war where we kill the police and military, they kill us, then the multinationals come in later. As the peace force, after America not having power for a year in many areas, the public accepted the UN peace force. As Henry Kissinger said back in 2000, he said, Americans would never accept the UN occupation of the New World Order, but the big enough crisis, they would happily accept United Nations peacekeepers in Los Angeles. And pull the quote up. So that's the issue here. And this isn't rhetoric, what you're hearing. This is the real issue of what's unfolding. This is the real issue of what's happening and what's going on. And this is the same program they're going to use in us, just different permutations, different implementations of it. And we are just on the brink of the whole world getting more and more unstable, as the British Ministry of Defense put out in 2007 in their report. The London Guardian carried it. It's Flash Mobs and Brain Chips, a frightening view of the future, from the British Ministry of Defense. That's the actual headline. I'm going to pull it up. Flash Mobs and Brain Chips, a frightening view of the future, by the Ministry of Defense. I had it British. Revolution, flash mobs, and brain chips, a grim vision of the future. I almost got it. London Guardian, did I get the year right? Yeah, 2007, April 8th. And then you can read the whole multi-hundred-page report when you link through on the PDF. And because this is what's being engineered, global economic shutdown, desperate populations, with the globalists there to finance revolutions before the real ones start, to then have the revolution then be dialed back in to even more globalist multinational control. Oh, you don't like how you're poor now in Ukraine? Let the EU come in. We'll make it better. EU comes in. A couple of years later, they bankrupt even more. Let the EU openly appoint your presidents and leaders now. We'll fix it. The public goes along. Suddenly, the public doesn't. Oh, my gosh, your neighbor declared war on you.
In recent decades, worldwide social change has experienced unprecedented historical acceleration, particularly because instant mass communications, such as radio, television, and the internet, cumulatively have been stimulating a universal awakening of mass political consciousness. The resulting widespread rise in worldwide populist activism inimical to external domination of